The Joint Economic Committee has released its response to President Biden's economic report. According to Democrats, national wages and salaries grew by almost $17,000. That would outpace growth during that period by nearly $4,000. Join us now with the Republicans' take on the report. Congressman David Schweikert, Vice Chairman of the Joint Economic Committee. Congressman, I don't know whether you were watching. We just had one of the president's spokespeople on, Jared Bernstein, and he was talking about disposable income and how that is actually above where it was pre-pandemic. So I was trying to figure it out. I asked him, are you sure inflation adjusted it's above? So I looked it up, and that includes all the pandemic spending, all the stimulus. You add that into the total, so it does come out above. But if you look up weekly wages, real wages, inflation-adjusted wages, we are still below where we were when President Biden took office. People's paychecks have not kept up with inflation. So you see how you can parse it? You do disposable income. It includes all the stimulus that the government gave people in the sum total, so it's up over the 4 years. But wages are still down because they only started rising last, I think, May of 2023. It's like, just depends on who you are and how you see things. It's not right.
Look, we refer to that as election year math. And look, there's a reason so many people are angry in our society. I represent the Phoenix Scottsdale area. If you don't make well over 26% more, and that's the mean, 26% more since President Biden took office, you're poor. And sort of the math games of not being willing to accept that. And we tried to do something actually much more intellectually honest in our response to the president's budget. We walked through tax policy and what really would happen and the number of jobs and the economic growth and the fact that most of the tax cuts actually go to wages. We walked through the demographics, which is shocking. More people don't talk about that because that's not Republican or Democrat. The fact of the matter is the U.S. debt right now is substantially driven by interest and the fact we're getting older. And then we try to walk through actual solutions. And a couple of them are going to get me in trouble, but they're mathematically honest. I mean, obesity in America right now may be the single biggest driver of growth of debt. And you actually walk back through the math and you understand. You're looking at something that's potentially $9.1 trillion of spending over 10 years. Is that Republican or Democrat? It's an opportunity to do something moral, and that would be great economics and great for debt and deficits.
Congressman, so if everybody is microdosing one of these new weight drugs, are you saying that would help? Then there wouldn't, are you saying the effects of diabetes and heart disease and I mean, it's across the board. If you're obese, you have all these problems, these chronic conditions that need to be. Are you saying that it costs money to treat it, or that it costs money to try and get people to lose weight? I think if everyone, that's a good thing to spend it on then, isn't it?
You're actually asking, in many ways, a brilliant question. You almost wish you had the whiteboard. But our math says in just a few years, half the United States will be technically obese. Are you willing to talk about farm agriculture, farm policy, the Farm Bill? Are you nutrition support? Is it moral to give someone the modern equivalent of food stamps, the EBT card, to buy onion rings? And then are there things out there that we could do to help society change? And is it a semaglutide, or are there other things? But as you had Jared talking before, you know, when you're saying we're going to tax this a couple $100 billion more, when your baseline looks like you're going to be borrowing $2.5 trillion a year, that may be good theatrics for being on a television show, but it's crappy math. It's just almost rounding errors.
It's all the numbers are almost historic in terms of 7% of deficit to GDP. That's way more than it should be in a growing economy. When you talk about what we're spending, revenue is about where it should be. The tax, they complain about the tax cuts. Nothing's really changed about what we bring in, but we're at 24% is what outlays are. That's unsustainable. I don't know how you fix it.
It's mathematically absurd.
It's unsustainable.
Let me put it in a quick perspective. If you take a look at almost all the tax proposals coming from the left, and you do their $400,000 adjustment, you might get 1.5% of GDP. For those of us who'd like to reduce the size of the government, if you just go to non-defense discretionary and cut there, you might get 1% of GDP. When you start saying, hey, here's 2.5%, and you're borrowing this year 8% of the entire economy, if you're not willing to sort of do major policy, the solution actually is a tax code that maximizes economic growth and robustness, regulatory code, and now that you have AI and so many other things, you could have a revolution in how you do regulations, keeping society safe and healthy. But then the next step is, what are you willing to change policy-wise? We often talk about healthcare because it's just, the primary driver, that with interest. Right. But you will get an army of those, shockingly more from the bureaucracy, who are terrified of saying, what would happen in society if you made us dramatically healthier? You're having the 5th year in a row where prime-age males are dying younger. 15 years from now, this society, we have more deaths than births. So I like to think, actually, those of us on the Republican side, we're actually we built a report that offered actual moral and great economic solutions instead of the election year rhetoric and math.
Yeah, we hear a lot of it. But it's just staring us in the face, and those are some interesting ideas that you tried. I didn't realize that about obesity. I've thrown up my hands, not about my weight, I've done that too, but I've thrown up my hands about what we're going to do with, we're going to be at, debt to GDP's stuck above 100. It's never coming down.
Oh, well over 100.
It's never coming down. And by 2030 and 2040, it's going to be 140%. And I don't know how, the left loves to spend money to try to help people. There's going to be no money other than debt service to spend on anything. And so I don't understand why that isn't staring them in the face. Huh?
You're looking at some math where if we continued what we're doing right now, in 9 budget years, 10 budget years, 36% of all tax receipts, every tax receipt, goes just to pay interest.
Right.
And look, it's demographics. We're crushing the next generation. I'm blessed. I have young kids. My children will be technically poorer than the generation before it. And it's math. We have to almost double U.S. taxes in about 20, 22 years just to maintain baseline spending.